Hello, beautiful people. This is AL Thick Madame. I know y'all gonna read me for having this bonnet on, but look, I wasn't even supposed to be at work today. I ended up having to work the last half of my shift and the first half of the next shift. And I'm just like, this ain't it. But since I clocked in, apparently if I clock in on my 6th day, even if I work for 30 seconds, I can usually still get approved for my 7th day off. So I'm glad about that. And it's crazy because the person came to get me and tell me that I was gonna have to work over today, right? And I already figured that because, like I told y'all before, they have drafts of everything. And then with the fact that they have y'all, this is like trying to talk to me. I can't. They have drafts of everything, and it's to the point where since they have drafts of everything, I can see in advance what they're gonna need. So since I already know that they're gonna need people, I'm already like, okay, since y'all talking about some stay over and come in early and all that, because they have like abbreviations for stuff like that, I already know what it's gonna be. So since I already know that that's what it's gonna be, I'm already like, okay, I know what to expect. Let me just go on and be prepared in my mind for the fact that I'm gonna have to go on ahead and not be able to leave at my appointed time, which would be before the next shift starts, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So I already knew that I was gonna have to stay. They literally needed 3 bodies. I am 3rd from the top, but the person who's above me on purpose yesterday said I'm gonna come in early just in case, and he was right. So he ended up leaving on time because it's like, I mean, it's a given. More than likely we're gonna end up having to do it anyway. So I'm just like, okay, this is a lot. And I mean, I already knew, but at the same time, I was just like, I really hope that they don't try to make me work the last 4 of my shift and then the next 8, which would mean the entirety of the next shift, right? So I was just like, okay, cool, let me do that. Let me just prepare my mind. Hopefully, worst case scenario is gonna be me doing 8 hours, and that's what it was. So I'm really, really glad that that ended up being that way. I don't know where that woman went, but she was doing the most. I hate when people walk up to my car and knock on my window and think that I owe them anything. Like, don't roll up on my car. Do not touch my car. My car just got washed. Trying to beg for stuff. Like, I don't like that. And then a lot of these people be scammers. Like, the last time that I was nice enough, because I'm not letting you get into my vehicle because people are crazy. I'm not doing that. Like, the days of that is long gone. I ain't doing that. The last time somebody came and knocked on my window, the woman was pregnant and it was really, really hot outside, and she was like, can you give me a ride but such and such place? I was like, no, I don't give rides. But what I will do is, because she was like, oh, it's just up the street. I was like, okay, what I will do is I will pay for a cab to come and get you. And the woman who I went to, who I called, she actually was the person. She has her own, it's a black owned business. She has her own cab company here. And so I wanted to solicit her business and get the word out so that more people would be aware of her and would call her. So I'm calling her, and eventually she picks up, and I told her, because the only reason why I even know of her existence is because my last car, literally, y'all, I can't. When I tell you I was so tired of my spirit, I had to get something that was like, shoot, $1,000 fixed on my car the week that I was to start working at my new job. And I was like, Lord, how am I gonna get to work? Like, I ain't got no friends here. Like, I mean, I have friends, but they work a completely different shift. Like, none of them work the shift that I work. And I'm like, I ain't finna wait nobody about to sleep. Some of them have kids. Like, I was just like, I'm not finna inconvenience nobody. So, barely having any money, I ended up having to take a cab. And I thought it was gonna be for 1 day, but it ended up being 2. Child, on top of the fact that I got to come out of pocket $1,000 or some dollars. So I was like, Lord Jesus. Whew. My parents didn't want me to ride around like that. And so they were like, no, you're going to take a cab to and from work that 1 day or the next day or whatever you need to do. Ma'am, I don't know what you thought this was finna be, but I was not finna pick you up and put you in my car. Somebody stop for her. I ain't doing it. These people are crazy. These people will kill you and take your stuff. Like, they will kill you because they got a habit. And look, they over here. Yeah. Anyway, it's too much. It was too much going on. So anyway, with the woman that I ended up helping, the only reason why I know about the service was because I needed a service, and I was like, okay. And I Googled. I ended up Googling it because, you know, I don't have an actual, you know, Yellow Pages or anything like that. So I was like, let me see. And so I looked at it and I was like, okay. And for some reason it came up and like people were giving it like 4 and 5 stars. And I was like, okay, like this woman hadn't even been in business for 6 months. And she was like the only driver at the time. And so like once business was going to pick up, she was going to get like other family members in on it. And I was like, okay, that's dope. Because she had a conversation with me when I was on my way to work and all this other stuff. I be doggone. Y'all, I be doggone. What is it, the first day? The first or the second day of work, it poured down raining. And luckily, I was telling her to come and get me an hour ahead of time. Even though it don't take but like 20 minutes driving the speed limit to get there. Child, ooh, it was so bad. I tell y'all, it was like flooding in certain areas. It was so bad. And here it floods really, really bad. And with the quickness. So I knew of that service. The woman was pregnant. And I was just like, man, I was like, you know what, Lord? You blessed me with this job. I have money. But I'm not letting nobody get in my car. And I sat in my car. I cracked my window. And I heard what she was saying. I had my car off and all of that. Because I'm like, you ain't finna get in my car. Like, that's what you're not finna do. And I kept calling. And then she getting impatient. She getting impatient with me because the woman wasn't picking up. And I'm like, she was like, well, call this place. I was like, no, I'm going to call who I want to call. This is my money that's paying for this. This woman going to take it upon herself to take her phone and call somebody else to come. And then when they came, because like, child, I don't even want to get into that. But anyway, they came and I was like, I'm not paying for it. Because like I said, the person was coming. I'd be doggone, she was right behind them. And I was like, this woman, and I called the woman back after I got her. And I told her, I was like, this woman is really trying to, she done call somebody else, thinking I'm about to pay for somebody else when I specifically told her I'm calling you. So the woman told me, she was like, I sure do appreciate it. Because when the woman got in the car, I told her what the situation was. She was like, I appreciate it. And I was just like, just take her up the street. Like, just, you know, she had to put my card number in and all this other stuff. Like, she had to do all kinds of stuff because I'm not going to be present. So I was like, do what you got to do. And she was just saying it's up the street, but I'm not driving. I'm not taking her anywhere. I'm not taking anybody anywhere. I'm not putting anybody into my car and possibly endangering my own life. Like, no, I'm single. I'm here by myself. I'm not doing that. I'm not about to be stupid like that. Now, I'm very, very nice because I did the most for her. And I should have said, you know what? Since you wanted to try me, you better foot it. That's what I should have said. Hoof it. That's what I should have said. But I said, nope. I'm gonna do right. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna do what I would want somebody to who I would want somebody to be nice enough to do for me. As hot as it was, or as cold, I forgot if it was hot or cold that day. But the weather was, I don't know, I was in my car and I was fine. But I was just like, and I mean, I sat out there a long time. I was like, oh my gosh, this woman that did the most. This woman showed out. And I was like, ma'am, if you weren't pregnant, I would have politely been like, forget you. But at the same time, I was like, well, dang, this heifer know this is my car. She might go crazy and bust my tires out or do something ignorant. So I was like, man, whatever. It's all right. So I'm sorry, y'all. That woman triggered me. I was just like, ma'am, if you don't get away, like I had to ignore her because it's like some people, every now and again, people will do that. They will walk, no matter what part of town I'm in, people will randomly walk up to my car and just think, oh, she'll do this. Like, get away from me with this stranger danger stuff. I can't. Anyway, y'all, my bad. I'm sorry I went off on a tangent because these people be trying me sometimes. But yeah, y'all. So I had a good day at work today, despite having to work on my day off. The first 4 hours I had to work in the most hated department, but it was a great experience. I was shocked. So then I thought I was going to have to stay over there because the person who came to tell me that I was going to have to stay over, who created that schedule, she told me that that's where I was going to be my last 4 hours of the day. So I said, okay, you know, it ain't that bad. Hopefully, you know, nothing crazy will pop off because I have to stay over here. But then when I went downstairs and went on my last break, I noticed that they had placed me over in my home department with my partner. And then they had the person who was over there switched with me to come over to the most hated department. So I was like, oh, okay, I can work with that. Like, I was just like, please don't let that crazy be popping off. Child, they ended up being a cake day. They ended up sending 2 people over there to help us do nothing. And then nothing was going on the last hour of the day, like really 40 minutes of the day. And so, I mean, I stayed busy. And they had like some big wigs, as I want to call them, there. Some important people or whatever. And I mean, I stayed busy. And some of the people were walking around that work on that shift. And they were kind of looking like, what she got going on? I don't care who you are. If something is funny to me, I'm going to laugh. As long as my work is being done, don't worry about what I'm doing over here. Like, I'm just like, I can't. Don't nobody have to call for me and be like, oh, this ain't happening. You ain't do this. You ain't do that. Okay, as long as ain't nothing popping off, don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to enjoy myself if a moment happens. So you can go ahead and get on down the road. Ease on down the road, if you will. Because I was just like, I kept feeling like somebody was watching me. And this man and woman was watching me. And they just was standing over in the side heifers department just watching. And I was like, I'm going to keep on laughing. I mean, I'm going to keep on laughing. I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. So I don't know why you all in my mouth. Don't know why you all in my mouth. And like, you know, anybody that might be new here, like where I work is really loud. So I'm country and I'm loud too, but I'm just saying though, like, don't try to make it seem like I'm disturbing some peace or something. Like, we're not finna do that. So anyway, you know, it was funny because the woman, of course, didn't want to go over there to that department. But I explained to her that it has been a lovely day and had no issues. Y'all, but before I forget, because I know I'm going to forget. Tell me why it was like the last 30 minutes of the day. And myself and my partner were talking. And he ended up walking off because he went to do something real quick. I'd be doggone this woman who she and I worked together for 4 hours in that the most hated department. But then she ended up being on her normal shift and being the breaker. So she was going to go break the woman out. And she was like, well, I was going to give her this amount of time for her break. So basically she wouldn't have to leave and come back. But she was like, since the woman going to try to tell her what she going to do, she was like, oh no, you can go back in your spot and stay there. And she was going to give her less time and basically give her the time that we all are actually supposed to have whenever we go on our breaks. And so I was like, no. She was like, yeah, she gonna get an attitude with me. I told her to go right back over there. And she's not gonna go at that time. She's gonna go at this time. Because I'm not gonna come over there and take her spot. I was like, no. Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh my gosh. I almost fell in the flow. I almost slid down in the flow the other day when I told her that when we were in the meeting, they said that these particular group of people were the all-stars and they didn't mention us at all. She was like, oh, they knew which meeting to say that in, because if they had said that in my meeting, oh my gosh, that woman went off. It was so hilarious. But anyway, what else happened? We were just talking about a whole lot of stuff. Wait a minute though, y'all. I told y'all they working the mule out of us, right? So they gonna be really, really short staffed tomorrow, and I don't care. I don't care. I should have had this day off. My hair should have been done. Now, I'm going to try to do my hair, y'all. Look, before I left, I tried to prep my hair. So all I had to do was come in and start installing. But I don't know. Like, I'll show y'all one. Can y'all guess what it's going to be? Can y'all guess what it's going to be? And the product that was used, look at the curl. Look at the. Wait a minute, put this as a background to see if that'll work. Y'all, look at the curl. Shoot. Look at the curl, honey. Look, and I wasn't even trying nothing, but I used that Dollar Curl Club twist stuff on it to braid my hair part of the way, and then the rest is just my hair curly at the end. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a protective style, hopefully. I've never done it this particular way before, and I'm hoping that it's going to turn out well. So for me, when it comes to certain braids and other installs, I moisturize my actual hair when other people will just put whatever on it and let it go, and then it's broke off and brittle by the time they take their hair out. I don't play that. As I've gotten older, even like literally even before I became natural, I started doing that whenever I would do braids and stuff like that. I would oil my scalp, and before I would start braiding my hair, each individual block, I would just moisturize it, completely saturate it, and go from there. And my hair does what it's supposed to do. I don't experience dry breakage foolishness and all of that. So I'm happy with my results. Everybody else can do what they do, but I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is. I literally went to the hair store, and I didn't. Y'all, wait a minute. I gotta tell y'all about that. I think that's it for work. Ain't nothing really happened. Oh yeah, before I go into what I did when I went to the hair store. So when I was talking to my partner, he was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna take off Friday." And the thing with that is, okay, people will say Friday when they mean Saturday, or they'll say Thursday when they mean Friday. So I was like, are you taking off? Because he initially said Thursday. So I said, are you actually saying Thursday or Friday? And I pointed to the, no, excuse my eye irritated. I pointed to the schedule, because in that moment, we just so happened to be, I was coming in. That's what it was. He was already there. He pulled a 12 today because he's at the top of the rotation list. And what's today? Today is one of his normal days. So he pulled the regular 8-hour shift that had to stay over. But yeah, y'all, excuse me, I'm exhausted. The woman called me, woke me up out of my sleep, and said, "Oh, I'm sorry to have waking you out of your sleep." Y'all, when I tell y'all, I ain't even know if she heard me say hello, because that's how deep of a sleep. I'm talking about, like, the rasping is trying to come in now, but I'm gonna try my best to fight it off and do my hair, because I want my hair to be done before I even take a nap. But worst come to worst, I'm gonna prep my hair, take a nap, then wake up, do my hair, and then I guess by the time next time y'all see me, I'm gonna be doing the recap review for Tyler Perry's Sisters. But anyway, she was like, "I'm sorry, but they have somebody." I was able to find somebody to come in to take your first half, the first half of your shift, but I'm gonna need you to come in for the last half. But then she ain't say that. The way she said it, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna have to work over. I said that to myself. So like I said, I had already prepared myself. But the problem was, she woke me up like 2.5 hours before I was supposed to really wake up and then start getting ready for work. So I was like, oh my gosh. I kept trying to go back to sleep and couldn't. So I'm like, dang. Y'all, the married man who got divorced, he reached out to me, and child, he was trying to link up. I was like, I'm gonna be working, because he knows that this is my normal. Like, when we first met and he first came to my shift, we had the exact same schedule. So he forever knows when my schedule, what my days are. So he was like, he wanted to link up. I was like, I can't link up because I'm gonna be at work. I'm gonna be asleep when you get off, because right now he's on another shift. Because child, and then with that, it's not even working. So apparently, until they learn that they need to hire people who actually are going to stay and do what they're supposed to do, and actually work and stay after the 90-day probationary period, and actually make it to the 90-day probationary period, we just gonna forever be up in there getting screwed over. And speaking of that, before I even go back to the hair store, one of the people who was told to come over there where we were the last half of the day, or the last 4 hours of the day, my partner ended up going on break. So I was like, well, let me act like a human being and go down here and make sure he all right. Wasn't nothing going on, but I just was like, oh, okay, let me go say, hey, you doing all right? You good? So that's what I did. I said, you good? He was like, oh yeah, I'm awesome. I'm good. I was like, okay. So then he was like, is this your shift? I was like, no. And I told him what shift I work on. He was like, oh, that's the shift I'm coming to too. I was like, oh, okay. Do you plan on actually staying on that shift? He was like, well, actually, no. And I said, you know what? I turned my back to this man and was like, bye. I put my arm all the way in the sky. I said, bye. That man bust out laughing, and you could tell he's older. But he was dying. I was like, I don't even want to hear nothing else you got to say. He was laughing, but I was serious. Sir, we have nothing else to discuss, because you're telling me you're going to come to my shift. Ain't no telling when you're going to leave, but you're leaving. But the thing is, my partner told me, well, he was told that he was going to work on one shift. And then they called him back and was like, oh, we need you to work on this shift. But somehow everything got crossed up, and he just thought that he was going to be able to come in and just be like, oh no. I guess like when something could come up, he's going to go to another shift. And I'm just like, we need people, because like later on, he was like, oh, so like, are y'all desperate for people on y'all shift? I was like, I mean, we desperate for people on all shifts, to be honest. Like, the most going on. And then I read him. Like, I read this man. I was just about to say, I don't remember his name, but I remember it. But I was about to say, sir, it don't even matter, because you're one of the ones who ain't gonna be there. You're a part of the problem. Like, I read that man. I was like, it don't even matter, because it ain't like you gonna stay on my shift. And I walked off again and said, bye. Like, this man was dying again. I was like, I ain't got time. I'm so serious. And so I told my partner what happened, and he was dying laughing too. I was like, I'm serious. Like, I'm tired. And then the person who came and told me about the scheduling and all that stuff, she was like, oh, well, excuse me, y'all. Like I said, I'm tired. Y'all see the bags, the usual bags, and they're a little bit heavier today, a little bit puffier. Oh, child. What you got going on? But yeah, I had told him about it, and he was dying laughing. But yeah, he tried to tell me that, you know, the situation. I was just like, I ain't trying to hear that though. Like, the woman told me that it's gonna forever be like this because we can't keep nobody. And I said, I already know that. I already see that. Because at this point, it's just pointless. It's like, apparently we're just gonna be looking crazy until somebody finally gets some sense and say, oh, let me hire people who are actually gonna do what they're supposed to do. People who, like, before, a lot of people I've noticed that have been there for a while, they are at least there a notable amount of time for you to say, okay, they are serious. And even if they are having days and where they're not really into what's going on, they are consistent and they're coming to work. They are people who were working at places that, you know, ended up closing down for unforeseen circumstances long before COVID or whatever. So they came over there. And they plan on retiring from there. So I'm just like, okay, y'all need to find some more people like that. Like, that's what y'all need to do. Because I'm sick and tired of these people. I be trying to figure out where they find them at. And then the dude I told y'all about the other day, who walked off. Child, this man walked. I still can't get over the fact how he just walked off. Excuse me, y'all. Put my glasses back on. How he walked off 30 minutes before it was time to go home. Didn't say nothing to nobody. And I had to come in behind him because I was pulling the 12-hour shift that day. Like, sir, if you don't get out of here, I think he got fired or he no longer works there. And I'm just like, either way, I don't care, because at this point, you still doing the most and making it harder for the rest of us. So we working like crazy trying to keep up because you ain't keeping up. And I'm just like, Lord, don't nobody have time for this foolishness. But I think he got fired or he decided not to come back. And there was no reason for him to come back anyway. He came back and worked less time than he did before he ended up even going out for whatever reason. I don't even know what he left for. That's what I'm confused about. I don't even understand why he left to begin with. But he should have stayed where he was at this point. Because I had to even forget. I kept saying my part. I said, I saw all these people who were said to be on our shift. Where they at though? And he was like, oh, I ain't seen him since the first day they said he was gonna work over here. I was like, I ain't never seen him. I couldn't tell you what the man looked like to save my life. Then he appeared, and then he was like, oh, well, that's the guy who was here before. And I'm like, this man is trash. Everywhere, every day that he's been back, which he's been back for less than 7 days, probably less than 5, everybody said he was trash. People coming in from other shifts talking about this man trash. They going through, and I'm talking about some of the nicest people that will help you out. They've noticed that this man is trash, and they just tired in their spirit. So hopefully he went on ahead and excommunicated himself or whatever, and it's just like, oh, okay, this ain't for me, and go somewhere else because I'm tired. Like, don't work the mule out of me because you want to be lazy or whatever. Like, my partner said something, And it reminded me of the guy who said that his shoulder was messed up. I said, you know, he be reaching out to me from time to time. And he be doing everything but working. This man be like, oh, I'm on your side of town. And I be like, what? He be like, yeah, I'm driving on your side of town. Can I stop by? Boy, if you don't get out of my face. And then all this time, y'all, he trying to holler at me and got a whole girlfriend that he had before he ever set foot at my job, inside of the doors of my job. Sir, if you don't get out of my face, and like I told y'all before, almost everybody and their mama who want to roll up got a girlfriend. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I already know. That's why when people roll up and they want to keep acting like they just want to be so persistent, I'll entertain a conversation and say, what's your girlfriend's name? How long you and your wife been together? All of that. They be like, I ain't got no wife. I ain't got no girlfriend. Or they will tell the truth and be like, well, actually, I got a girlfriend and we've been together. Or why are you trying to talk to me? Leave me alone. Anyway, y'all, he was dying laughing because when this happened, he wasn't there. I think he had COVID or something, my partner. Something happened. He wasn't there. So I ended up telling him what happened. Because it was crazy because me and the guy had just worked together the day prior. And we had to break each other out. And everything went smooth. We didn't even need a breaker. The next day, I don't know what happened. It's like all hell broke loose over there. And then I went to break and came back. And he was on his way up the floor talking about, oh, I need to go see a nurse. Is the nurse in? I said, the nurse don't come in until hours from now. And then I had to think about it. I was like, actually, I don't think she come on the weekends. I think this was a weekend day. And so he disappeared to my weather supervisor, and never reappeared. But then found me on social media and reached out, and he be trying to roll up, and I just be like, sir. But he be doing when I tell y'all, this man be doing everything in the world but working. It don't be making no sense. And I wouldn't have paid him for a lazy dude, but apparently he is. I don't know. So now on to the hair store. Let me hurry up and let y'all be on about y'all day and about y'all way. Y'all, so I got off work. I went and washed my car, and I wanted to just listen to some Big Crit and Project Pat and thing. I had to hype myself up because I'm just like so excited that I'm not up in there. So that's why I ain't get on there and do like a little as I was driving type situation. I ended up going to the hair store last because I got this on. I really don't be out like that. Like, this is something I don't do, but I had to today because I had started prepping my hair, and this is full fro and the rest is just looking crazy. So I was like, dang it. And my multifunctional situation, it wasn't gonna do today because it was gonna be looking crazy. So I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. And I tried, but I was like, dang it ain't gonna work today. So I went to work like this. So anyway, I was like, I'm just gonna go in the hair store, get what I need, and come back out. Little did I know, it's so crazy the way things work out, y'all. I went in there to get something in particular. I went down the aisle that I knew it was on. Tell me why it was on sale on a deep discount. Do you know I loaded up? I sure did. And I will be able to make wigs, do protective styles, do some mofo's head. And like, it was so much hair, Lord. I got hair. I ended up getting some hair. I already have the hair that I want to use, but y'all will see. I'll explain it to y'all when it happened. When my hair is actually done. Hopefully it'll actually look like something while I'm talking about it. But there are so many things that I can use the hair for. I'm so excited. I can't believe it. And I loaded up. I got I got 24 packs of hair. Let me just put it like that. And it's hair that's typically between 6 something and 12 something a pack or whatever. And I got it for $4 a pack. And I'm so happy. I really wouldn't have even needed but 2 packs tops for me to do what I'm doing today. So yeah, y'all. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Oh, and then I already got another shipment. I literally have a hair shipment coming of hair because I'm gonna be doing box braids and other things, a lot of protective styles. So I'm gonna be good for the next 6 months to a year at the bare minimum. Anyway, I bored y'all enough. Hopefully y'all enjoyed my little what a day post. I think the next time y'all will see me is when I'm doing Sisters. So y'all be careful out there and stay cool.